Baddies USA, episode 8, titled Watch Your Mouth. So the episode starts off with Tommy Lee in the black van riding off with her people. So apparently she called up her homegirls. They came and they fought, but they didn't show us that on camera. Because we just see all of the baddies mad. Like, I saw Cole Killer going off, Fauna was going off, Mariah Lynn. Everybody was pretty much saying that it was us versus them type shit. Tommy Lee riding off with them is just like the funniest sight ever. She just looks so funny in that black van, like, She literally said, deny, deny, deny. She does not know what the hell happened. She did not call those people. It was not her. Anyways, the scene like ends just as fast as it begins, and literally now we have the sprinters pulling up and all the baddies are getting on the sprinters. Apparently Nunu was looking for her bag or something like that, and Tay Baby was like, oh, it's not on this sprinter, and that caused an argument. Nunu went up to the sprinter and Tay Baby was on there, and Tay Baby was saying she was just trying to help Nunu, and then she was asking her like a question or something, and Nunu was upset because she was like, how are you gonna tell me like what sprinter I was on? Like, she thinks her bag is there. I don't know how it escalated, but you just hear them yelling off the top of their lungs. Nunu's over there, Teddy Baby's all hanging out of the sprinter like, you stupid, I'm just trying to help you, I'm just trying to help you, you know? Fauna gets involved, and Fauna's trying to like close the door to the sprinter, and Teddy Baby gets mad. She's like, no, stop, don't close the door. I'm having my scene with her. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to end my scene so fast? Literally. But yeah, they get into yet another argument. I'm just like so confused. Like, how are these two girls ever friends? Literally, they just became friends last season on Baddies Africa, and they're already like having this many disagreements. It's weird to me. Like, y'all supposed to still be like getting along. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty evident that this friendship is not gonna last very long. Literally, Fauna told Tay Baby, y'all ain't doing shit. Like, that's why I'm closing the door. And Tay Baby's like, I'm ready to fight her at any time. And Fauna said, okay, go fight her then. Exactly. She didn't get up and she didn't go. But no, Tay Baby's just upset because she's closing the door. I mean, I kind of understand Tay Baby, to be honest. Like, why are you trying to regulate shit? Yeah, if Tay Baby wants to argue and yell at her for 10 hours, let her. Literally, they go back into the sprinter, like yelling off of the top of their lungs to the point where other people are like, are y'all all right? Cole Killer is like awkwardly just standing there, like as she always does every time they argue. She don't know what to do. She literally just looks like the third wheel, like, here we go again. They arguing. They're having their moments. Fauna's like, are you really that upset that I just tried to close the door? Like, yeah, you gotta understand my intention, you know, which I do get it. Like, her intention was good after all. So that's like, you can't really hold it against her, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't doing anything bad by closing the door. But yeah, Tay Baby like put her hands in Fauna's face, and Fauna said, girl, don't put your hands in my face. Tay Baby's like, oh, so you want to fight me? Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. You want to fight. And I'm like, obviously not, girl. Really, if you remember back to Baddies Africa, when Big Lex was talking to you all like this with her hands in your face, you didn't like it either, Tay Baby. Remember? Literally, you swung on Big Lex for doing that. So, like, girl, get your hands out of her face. That sprinter is already small enough. Y'all's already, like, this close talking to each other. Like, you don't need to do all of the hand stuff, too. But the funny thing about that scene, when I rewatched it, is, like, I feel like Fauna had her hands in Tavy Baby's face, too. Especially when she says, get your hands out of my face. I didn't even see Tavy Baby's hands in her face. But also, the camera was angled at Tavy Baby. So, anyways, yeah. Moving right along. So, Tavy Baby gets off of the sprinter, crying. She's like, I want to fight now. They put her in like a different car and they take her away. So the scene cuts. It's the next day and we see Rolly and Summer in a hotel room talking to each other. So they're talking about Tasiki, Krishan, and Marsh. Literally, here goes Summer. You know, she doesn't like Tasiki. So Summer is like, yeah, Tasiki was like bleeding, leaking out the mouth, and Marsh just had like a little scratch. And Rolly, of course, she feels the need to defend Tasiki because Rolly's so biased. Rolly's like, oh, but my B, Tasiki, like she did her don't get it twisted. Which is true. Tasiki did win. I mean, there's no denying that. She was bleeding out the mouth. And I heard like some people say that they might have edited the part where Marsh got her, whatever. But I mean, overall, we saw a lot of the fight and Tasiki was winning. I found it interesting right here that Summer is literally like, well, yeah, she did. She did her up until she got dropped to the floor. Because online, I feel like on IG, Summer was singing a completely different tune. Like she was saying that Marsh beat Tasiki's ass. flaws and Tasiki lost and all that. But in this scene right here, she's admitting, yeah, Tasiki did. She was getting her up until she got dropped to the floor. So of course, Rolly is like, she didn't get dropped to the floor. She fell, which is exactly what I said in my review too. I was like, I mean, obviously it was so clear that she was pulling Marsh's hair. She pulled it so hard that she fell to the floor. I would never say that Marsh dropped her to the floor. She made herself fall to the floor doing that move. Let's be real here. So Summer even says she felt like Krishan wasn't really trying to fight her sister too, which I felt the same way too. I just felt like Krishan didn't want to look like a punk on camera. Like from when she was filming her own show and like Tasiki put her hands on her, Krishan still remembers that moment because she's literally said like, oh, you're not about to make me look like a punk on TV, like putting your hands on me, and her not doing anything back. I think Krishan's just holding that in the back of her mind, and that's the only reason why she was talking about some, come on, you want to fight? All right, let's fight over here, Tasiki. Come on. After like an hour of Tasiki trying to fight her, right? So yeah, I didn't believe it either. But anyways, now I'm like, why are we talking about them? Now Rolly asks her, what's going on with you and the big three? And this is what I want to get into. Hopefully Summer drops some actual tea here. Oh my gosh. Well, Summer literally says people think that the reason why me, Dolly, and Lex are not friends is because they didn't help me with Tasiki, but it has nothing to do with that. She literally says that. But how many times has she contradicted herself? Let's just say the girl was drunk before and now she's sober. So let's hear how she talks when she's sober. Okay, so Summer just says something so vague. Like she just says they had a meeting after the rehearsals and she felt like she was damned if she did, damned if she didn't, because it was a problem when she was drunk and it was a problem when she was sober. No specifics, no examples, no details, just that, which I'm like, okay, we learned nothing. But anyways, like Rolly is just trying to convince her that like, you know, y'all should try to stick together. Don't let this show make you guys fall out. You guys are more than just show friends. You guys are real friends. And Summer is actually agreeing in this scene. Like she's literally nodding her head and be like, yeah, you're right. Me, like too, I was one of the people, I was never like a big hater of the big three. But I actually found them entertaining and I like them, and I wish they would have stuck together this season because that would have been iconic. Like Big Three just took over Baddies USA. But honestly, all of the friendships are falling out. Big Three's falling out. Fauna and Baby's falling out. Krishan, Tasiki, Marsh, they fell out. Biggie and Tommy Lee falling out. So then after that, Summer says like, you know, she unfollowed Big Lex and Dolly on social media, and this is how I can see like her immaturity, because like the first thing that you think when you get into an argument with somebody is let me unfollow them is a little immature. I've done it before in the past, so don't be offended if you've done that. But yeah, anyways, she literally said like, I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to like work on myself, so I don't need my friends telling me how bad of a friend that I am right now. She's like, if I had a friend that I felt like was just dragging me down and constantly getting me into I wouldn't want them in my life. So that's why like I'm removing myself from their life. And like I feel like on the surface level that might look very mature, but I see Summer's hurt behind this. This is not her trying to take the high ground and distance herself. This is her literally upset at the fact that they were pointing out her flaws. I know it's tough to hear somebody like point out your flaws, and really I believe that's the reason why Summer pulled away from them and distanced herself from them. That's why I say it's immature, because instead of just trying to work on her flaws and be a better friend, because they still wanted to be her friend, instead of doing that, she just said, all right, whatever, then you guys think I'm a bad person, well, then I'm just gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? Like not even acknowledging that, yeah, hey, maybe I was a little bit doing too much, maybe I wasn't being a best friend, maybe I do get you guys into some shit. Like I think a little bit of acknowledgement here goes a long way. Even Rolly in the confessional said most of this is Summer's fault. I wish she would have said it to her in scene though, but you know, Rolly said like she warned Big Lex and Dolly not to enable Summer's behavior because this would happen. I do to a certain extent agree with the people that say like Big Lex and Dolly was always behind Summer in the beginning and now they kind of changed, although the situations were so different. Like I said, in Baddies Midwest, Summer was almost getting bullied. There was literally like 6-7 girls against her. So Big Lex and Dolly stepping behind her was understandable. Like the girl was near getting bullied. Baddies Africa at this point, you know, they're fresh, they're new friends, and even so, like, it was always like a brawl situation happening. Baddies USA, I feel like this situation is just so different. Not because it's Tasiki and everybody's scared of Tasiki. I think it's because how serious these allegations are towards Tasiki. Summer keeps saying it over and over, saying that Tasiki is the R word. It's like there has to be a line somewhere. So the scene cuts and we see Tay Baby and Cold Killer, and they're walking in the streets of New York City. Of course, this is Tay Baby's hometown. Yeah, I kind of like these scenes where they're splitting up the girls. It's kind of chaotic when they have like 25 girls in one room. So I like when they're doing these like smaller groups and talking to them so we can build more storylines. So they pretty much are talking about how the show is going to go tonight in New York City. Cold Killer was supposed to open up, but apparently they switched her and they put Smiley to open up first, which I'm like, yeah, don't they normally open up with like the less popular person? I guess. I don't know, to be honest. Can you believe that I've never been to a concert? Anyways, but yeah, like, to me, that makes sense. Like, you save the most hype, most popular, best songs for last. But yeah, they're talking about Tommy Lee and her people. Cold Killer and Tay Baby are both mad. Cold Killer is like, she's like really, really offended by that. And to me, I didn't understand her anger at first, especially in the beginning when she was all like, oh, you mess with the wrong person. I call men. Like, I was like, why? But then I remembered when Tay Baby and Tommy Lee were fighting and Cold Killer was in the room trying to talk to Tay Baby. Tommy Lee came in there and I guess she was kind of getting smart with Cold Killer. She said she was asking me what my name is, and they got into an argument. I'm assuming Tommy Lee was just being disrespectful, like asking her what her name is in a rude way. So yeah, because of that, Cold Killer already has something against Tommy Lee. Anyways, I was really hoping that they were going to talk about Fauna. What the this was such a missed opportunity. I wanted Cold Killer to be like, what is going on with you and Fauna? Like, why y'all keep arguing with each other? So we could get some dialogue on that, but okay. Anyways, the scene cuts and we see Nunu's getting her hair done and Fauna enters the room to have a conversation with her. So yeah, they start talking about she who must not be named, K-Rican. So Fauna is pretty much upset because she feels like Nunu is being corny and she agreed not to say K-Rican's name. However, she all of a sudden, you know, wanted to fight Cold Killer over K-Rican. Literally, she was saying, you know, when they sat and they had the conversation and Nunu said that she wouldn't say K-Rican's name, that they had an understanding, and Nunu was like, nah, like, we never had an understanding. I said we can have a conversation and I didn't say her name, technically. I was like, okay, girl, not the technicality. Like, obviously you understood what Fauna was saying. I feel like Nunu is just playing like a game of semantics here. And you know, Nunu and Cold Killer have been going back and forth on social media. So literally, Nunu was saying that she was going to check Cold Killer's temperature. So yeah, Fauna was saying like, you know, if you were going to check her temperature, you should have done that on day one. Like, why did you wait until after we had the conversation and a couple of days later? It just didn't make sense, which I agree with. I think that's weird and it doesn't make sense. It seems very much so like somebody whispered in her ear, like, go ahead and have that conversation. But Nunu's like, I did check her temperature. And Fauna was like, how? And me too, I was like, how? When? And she said, I checked her temperature because on the first day when y'all came, y'all walked right past me and Cold Killer didn't say anything. So like the temperature was checked. I was like, no ma'am, that is a funny way to put it, but that is not you checking her temperature. Literally, you're trying to say she did nothing because she didn't acknowledge you, but you didn't do nothing either. To me, checking temperature means you're gonna go up to them and you're gonna say something and it'd be something more like, so Killer, what's up? Like, you trying to do something or not? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's checking somebody's temperature. I don't know how you can just like watch someone and claim you checked their temperature. You didn't do nothing. That's what you did. You did nothing. Nunu's whole thing is like, Keela is the one with the problem, so she should come up to me and she should say something. If you did have a conversation with Fauna and you agreed not to bring anything up and then you bring it up a couple of days later and you're claiming that you checked the temperature and the temperature was cold, so if the temperature is cold, then why do you feel like you need to say something to her a couple of days later? You see how she's kind of contradicting herself? She keeps saying, I'm not the one that has a problem. That's why I'm not going to say anything to her first. But then here she is a couple days later saying something to her first. I feel like she's trying to twist her words to make it make sense, but she's not really making sense. But Fauna did gagged me a little bit because she was like, you have white stuff in your mouth. You're literally foaming at the mouth. You're so angry, girl. Like, calm down. The subtle, classy read. I love it. So Nunu says, and your lace is showing. But anyways, you see Fauna just slowly sliding her shoes off. And I'm like, Nunu, girl, you don't see her moving her legs? Like, now's the time to get up. Are you going to let her just take her shoes off like that? Absolutely not. I'm just saying. Now, at this point, Fauna's shoes are off and she's ready to go. And I think she's kind of just waiting for the moment, literally. Because Nunu is talking and she's like, y'all, y'all was just quiet. And she's like, who is y'all? And she's like, you know who I'm talking about. But obviously, if you want to take it like that. And she's like, no. Like, put a name on it. Put a name on it. And Nunu says, Kohila. And Fauna got up and Fauna said, boom, 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 boom. I was like, damn. Fauna beat her ass. Oh my gosh, Fauna tore her up. It's crazy. And I will say, I like how Fauna stood up for Cold Killer here. I'm just saying that because when Cold Killer was fighting Tinkerbella like 7-8 rounds, right? I feel like Fauna didn't have Cold Killer's back enough. Like, she didn't try to even say, enough, Tinker, like, stop. Although, like, this is the second time Fauna has literally took a fade for Cold Killer. She did it once in Baddies Africa, literally against Tavy Baby. And now she did it again. So I feel like, Fauna has proven that she is loyal to Cold Killer. Yeah, I will say though that after that fight, Nunu did look pretty untouched. Like, her hair was still on her head. Fauna, her wig came off, but these wigs fly off so easily. But yeah, anyways, Fauna still won. They kick Fauna out of the room, and yeah, Nunu feels like a victim. She's like, everybody just wants to pick a fight with Nunu. Like, okay, go ahead, whatever. I'm like, I don't feel like you're a victim, but I do feel like Fauna, she wanted to fight you. I agree. Because Nunu, she wasn't being disrespectful, especially towards the end. Like, she was actually trying to just like, all right, well, if there's nothing left, you can leave. Like, she was trying to end it, actually. So the scene cuts and we have Anna, Biggie, Tasiki, and Mariah Lynn. They're getting ready too, and they're talking, like trying to do a New York accent. Okay, so Mariah Lynn gives us a little bit more context to the Tommy Lee black van situation. She says that those people were Tommy Lee's stylist. It was 3 people. And she said they jumped out of the van and they started jumping on Cold Killer and Fauna. And I was like, oh, thank you for saying that, because I was so confused why Fauna was so angry. She was literally like, that's corny. I was like, oh, they literally jumped on her. That makes so much sense. And then everybody else jumped in and they stopped Cold Killer and Fauna from getting jumped. Thank ya. Like, thank you, Mariah Lynn. She's about the only person that knows how to give some details in the storytelling so that we can actually understand what is going on. I will say though, like, Tommy Lee is being brought up in almost every single conversation. So she's definitely relevant, like literally. This scene was only about Tommy Lee and her people, and it cut. They didn't talk about nothing else. It's like, damn, there was nothing else going on. But yeah, now we see some of the other girls. They're getting ready for their first show. We see the girls on the Baddies USA bus. They arrive at their venue. Literally, there's so many people outside in New York City. It looks crazy already. Natalie and Lemmy Pepper are talking to the girls before their show. They're literally saying like, no fighting, no fighting, no fighting. We have to be professional, which let's hope the Baddies can do it, because, the Baddies have never followed directions before. Whenever there's rules or whatever, they've never followed it. So Lemmy says that he's gonna go to Milan and Rome, I believe, in Italy, and he's gonna meet with some of the tech partners. And I remember like when this happened in real time, because he was talking about, the Zeus Network app, just trying to like fix it, make it more efficient, and make it, so that it doesn't crash anymore and stuff like that, basically. So I didn't realize like the tech people were in Italy, which is kind of cool. I'm like, okay. But yeah, he's gonna take Scotty and Jayla to Italy with him. I've seen like a lot of this part already, them filming in Italy too, which is, it's so cool. I used to date an Italian. When I say that, I mean like literally from Italy, not here in America. So I kind of like love this right now. But no, not like that, because I'm married right now. But anyways, I'm just saying, moving right along, Natalie announces that she is actually going to be going to her security guard's funeral. And I remember that when that happened in real time too, she was really upset about it, which is pretty sad. I think that explains why maybe Natalie seemed a little bit down this season, because I did feel that. I did feel like she was a little different in some of the scenes. Oh my gosh, they were actually like considering going and filming her going to the funeral and stuff, but Natalie said she kind of declined that, which I think is the right call here, because just stuff like that is like really sensitive. It depends on the family, like if they're okay with that or not. But I know for a lot of people, they just want it to be private and they want that moment to be private. And I agree with Biggie. I think that Natalie should just take a little break at this moment, because Biggie, she tried to like force herself to come on the show after her spouse, significant other passed away. You know, it did not go well for her at all. She was already sad and depressed and she didn't want to fight, and people were trying to make her fight, and it's too much. Like, I think you need to take a break, process those real emotions, and come back when you're mentally ready, because physically you might be able to like take hits and bumps and that will heal, but like mentally is much harder to heal from stuff like that. So I don't think pushing yourself mentally in an unhealthy environment when you're already going through it's not a good idea. All right, so finally the show is starting and we see DJ Sky High. She's getting the crowd all hyped. She's doing her thing, and the DJ venue is huge too. I was like, damn, it is really, really big. There's like an upper level as well. I mean, is it me too, or does like the names when they appear on the screen not look like the Snickers logo? Every time they show a name, like Natalie Nunn, I'm like, I want some Snickers. Bobby Lights gets called out. Tanisha gets called out, which I'm like, that's pretty cool that they're doing that. Like, they should, in every city, whatever Baddie or BGC girl is there, like have them come out and host. I think that's the plan, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, anyways, they call out Smiley to open up the show. Smiley comes out. Surprisingly, the crowd is kind of vibing with her. I see them holding their drinks up. I see them nodding. Like, you know, she's getting a pretty positive reaction. I just say surprisingly because I know she's not like one of the favorite quote unquote baddies, you know what I mean? Big Gretch gets called out to the stage next. Boy, as soon as she started rapping her song, the crowd was like, boo, boo. I'm like, damn, she didn't even say the N-word yet. Why are y'all booing her? They don't F with Big Gretch more than they don't F with Smiley. It's literally, she got booed up and down, left and right. What do you do at that point? How do you, as a singer, rapper, how do you deal with that? You just gonna keep performing the rest of your song? It's kind of awkward. Nunu gets brought out to the stage next. I'm not sure what kind of reaction the crowd had. It sounded like they were okay. Like, I seen them with their hands up, but it seemed pretty neutral. I don't know. New York was like, whatever for Nunu. That's what it seemed like. Big Lex comes out on the stage next. Big Lex, not the little one, you know I'm flexing. Crowd's giving her positive energy. I'm hearing that New York F's with Big Lex. Summer was next. They were not effing with her. She was getting booed. They were literally throwing the middle finger up at her. Yeah, New York didn't like Summer. At this point, especially, most of the fans did not like Summer. Now, y'all did like a 180. Now everybody's up Summer's ass. But at this point, still, nobody liked Summer. Tanisha's confessionals? Oh my gosh, she had me dying. She said they were booing Summer into winter. It was like a hot rotisserie mess. I didn't know what to do. I was like, damn, I miss Tanisha. But anyways, Dolly comes next. And if you thought Summer getting booed was bad, Dolly comes to the stage next. Dolly looks really cute, by the way. I love her outfit. The crowd is literally booing Dolly, and then they start chanting, F Dolly! F Dolly! Literally, the whole room is yelling F Dolly. Now, I remember when this happened in real time, one of the security guards started joining in on the chant and was like, F Dolly! F Dolly! And it caused like a whole drama at that point. It's like Natalie got involved. Natalie's like, why is the security guard saying F Dolly? It's so unprofessional. And this was crazy. I didn't realize that y'all hate Dolly more than y'all hate Summer. Oof, okay. Is this because off of the back of Baddies Africa? Is that why? So they had their intermission, right? Sapphire, Scotty, Tavy, and Fauna did their thing up on the stage. Fauna has her iconic line now. You know my name is not that hard, it's Fauna. But anyways, next, after the intermission came Anna Mac. Of course, the crowd was effing with Anna, which is not a surprise. Anna is one of the fan favorites. They were vibing to I wanna run away. I want to ride away. I will say, I think Anna has the best voice out of all of the baddies. I think like she actually has a really beautiful, unique voice too. It's not like common, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, then next we had Cold Killer Ho. Cold Killer, in my opinion, she knows like how to work a crowd. Like she literally had her merch ready to go. It said, shit. She threw it out into the crowd. She's interacting with the crowd while she's performing. She's not just up there singing. She has very good stage presence. But I will say, in general, it just feels to me like the crowd is so dry. And it's because everybody's literally just holding up their hands. Like you don't really see anybody having a good time dancing. But I understand this is a generational thing, okay? Y'all don't enjoy the moment anymore, especially these younger, like 2000 babies. While Rolly's performing, they cut into like a side area and you have Jayla and Janelle. They're sitting with Nunu and Summer and they're having a conversation. They were just talking about how they're surprised that Jayla and Summer can even be in the same room together, coexisting after what happened between them before. And Summer surprisingly gave a pretty mature response. You know, she was like, yeah, I just figured like, what was the point? So I fought her and they just went back to being friends. They asked how Jayla feels about Big Lex. And I do remember how they went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on Baddie's Midwest. And of course, Jayla's like, I mean, Big Lex is a strong and beautiful person. And like, I'm a strong and beautiful person. So I feel like we can just coexist at this point. And then Big Lex comes walking in. Big Lex and Scotty. And pretty much she agrees that they should squash it and move forward. And they hug it out. Yay! Jayla and Summer hug it out. Then we're back to the stage and we see Tinkerbella performing her song, It's a Bad. That's Cold Killer's song, my bad. It's a real baddie party, you cannot get in. And the crowd is effing with them. Mariah and Tasiki Biggie, they pretty much all got like good response, warm responses from New York City. I will say Biggie and Tasiki's song, What's the Word? What we doing? Look at the way that I'm moving. The crowd was like super hyped to that. And I feel like they performed that really well. Like I think they should make more songs together. The song is good, but even like them performing on the stage was very good too. I think they work well together. I think that was probably like the best performance of the night. From what I could see, I couldn't see that much. Oh, so Tommy comes on the stage next and you see DJ Sky like playing her music and Tommy Lee all of a sudden just says, oh, you gonna do this to me again? She turns around, she's walking towards DJ Sky High. She's like, you gonna mess up my song again? For real? Because like in rehearsals, Tommy complained that DJ Sky High messed up her song then too. I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I'm like, why do you keep messing up her song? That's annoying. But Tommy is unprofessional to me because why are you doing that mid-stage like that? Like everybody can hear you. Like you said, just freestyle, just whatever, but like don't show them that there's mistakes happening. DJ Sky kept it professional though. Like she didn't have any reaction at all and she was still like supporting her song after Tommy Lee yelled at her. Next they call out Suki and I skipped through this because I'm not a fan of Suki's music. I watched it a little bit just because I was like, I can't review the show and not watch it. Ew, girl. No. Okay, so the scene cuts and some of the girls are backstage. Suki, Big Lex, Big Gretch, Summer, and Tinkerbella. And Big Gretch is saying how she was sad and in her feels because she got booed. Yeah, I understand. Like I said, it's just awkward. Suki Anna is like, no. It's because you said the N-word. That's why you got booed. And I was like, no, it's not. They were definitely booing her before she even dropped the N-word. I noticed that because I was like even thinking, oh, if they boo her when she says the N-word, makes sense. But no, it was before, literally. So Suki's wrong here. And I noticed Tinkerbella was trying to defend Gretch. She was like, but she has black kids. Like she said something about her having black kids, which I'm like, girl, what? I can have Japanese kids right now. Does that mean that I have the right to say something that like should only be for Japanese people? No, it doesn't make me Japanese. I know Big Gretch has constantly said that she is not white and that she's mixed with black as well. So I don't know. Yeah, so Big Gretch is like, this is New York. Are you crazy? Because like even I heard in New York that, you know, there's like a big Hispanic community and they all say the N-word. Are you trying to act like New York people would take offense? I think that's what she was saying. Like they are more tolerant of non-black people saying the N-word in New York. I mean, but she said she's kind of mixed with black. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's so confusing. Suki is trying to tell her like, girl, you can say anything. You can say ninja. You can say or you can say anything, and that's where I feel like you're kind of hypocritical. Like, no, not That's probably very offensive. Not like a one-way avenue. Big Gretch is putting her foot down. She's like, look, the song is already done, so I'm not gonna change it at the last second. Like, it is what it is, which that's her right. And like I said, they weren't booing her over the N-word, so Suki's wrong. So Big Lex is telling her, Gretchen, like, do you understand though why people are offended? And she's like, I get it, but why is it only offensive when Big Gretch says it? Like, I wish you would have put some names in there too. Like, what about Anna? Anna, a video surfaced of her not claiming to be black at all, and Anna says the N-word. To be fair, it was a couple years ago when she was younger, but if Anna doesn't claim it and she says it and y'all are okay with it, why are y'all not okay with Big Gretch? But at this point, I'm not here to debate whether somebody can say it or not. So instead of trying to change the rules for every situation, just make it simple and just be like, how about we just avoid that word? Nunu is like, oh, let me tell you why. It's because Gretchen looks like a pure C word. I'm like, y'all stop saying the C word. Why do you keep saying that? Suki's like, is you one? And Big Gretch says, no, B. And Suki's like getting mad, don't call me a B. And like, oh gosh, you know she didn't mean it like that. Suki was trying to provoke a fight out of Big Gretch here. And Big Gretch many times tried to not fight. She was like, okay, my bad. Okay, my bad. A couple of times. Big Gretch is like, okay, respectfully, let's calm down. And Suki's like, oh, no, don't tell me to calm down. Don't tell me to calm down with those big eyebrows. You RuPaul this. I mean, she's going off. She's on level 1,000 and Big Gretch is literally like on level 10 with her. Normally, I agree with Suki, but this one time I don't. Suki's like, stop calling people N-words. Stop calling people N-words. And I'm just like, girl, she didn't. This whole season, she didn't even say the N-word one time besides when she's performing. I mean, last season, it was every other sentence. This season, she literally fought people and she didn't say the N-word. So, no. She hasn't. So anyways, things escalate. All the girls are trying to prevent them from fighting. But at this point, Suki just sees red and she wants to fight. So she slides right past Tinkerbella. She's talking to Tinkerbella mid-sentence like, we are black women. We are black women. Boo! And she pretty much swings at Big Gretch. Boom. So security takes Gretchen and they take her away. These girls are not supposed to be fighting. I think even backstage, they're not supposed to be fighting. So good job, Suki, for ruining the night and fighting. And literally, good job for bringing this stupid ass storyline back up again in Baddies USA. Like, we could have went the whole season without this storyline, to be honest. Anyways, finally, they bring out Natalie Nunn to the stage. Let me give her credit. He called her the creator of Baddies, the executive producer, the CEO. I like that he gave her her flowers because she really did. Without Natalie Nunn, this show would not exist. So yeah, finally she's closing out the show with her songs. So the scene cuts and we see Sapphire going crazy because of course her BF Suki just got into it. So, you know, she's trying to find her sister. She's trying to go fight. You know, she's on that. She's never gonna let Suki fight without having her back anymore after what happened between them. But she kind of broke the establishment's glass though. She was hitting it so hard and you literally can see it and hear it crack. I was like, no! This is why businesses, companies, this is why they're not going to hire baddies. Y'all cannot do that. It's not just a simple matter of, oh, it's okay, we'll pay and replace it. Like, I think people don't understand that. Some stuff is sentimental to people. Some stuff is invaluable. But anyways, Sapphire is going crazy. She's running upstairs. She's trying to find Suki. Suki is nowhere to be found. She's knocking tables over. Tasiki, Anna, and Mariah are trying to run after her and stop her. But, you know, at this point, she's just trying to get to Suki. Apparently, Suki was back on stage. Exactly. This is why you didn't need to do all this, because your friend was literally back on stage where you started. If you would have just stayed there, you would have found her. But anyways, Sapphire, of all people, is the one being unprofessional right now and breaking the rules. She's literally snatched the mic from Suki. She goes up to DJ Sky High, trying to reach over to DJ Sky High's booth and do something. DJ Sky High is like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? This is so out of character for Sapphire. I feel like she's not usually so unprofessional like this. You hear Sapphire in the mic, where's Gretch? Where's Gretch? Yeah, she's calling out Big Gretch over the mic. Like, Natalie's still still in the middle of performing her songs, this is not the time at all. So Natalie and Lemmy perform their song together, Baddie Bad. All of the baddies are on stage, literally. I mean, like, this is about 30 people up on that stage, which is crazy because the stage looks big, but it's just so many people, they can barely move. Then finally the show closes out and they have their meet and greet, and Scotty is like, where is Natalie? She is MIA. The one that told us that this is not optional and we have to do the meet and greet is not here. Apparently Natalie wasn't there, Rolly wasn't there, Tasiki Anna wasn't there. I'm like, okay, Natalie, Rolly, I can understand because that is the CEO and one of the leaders. I don't think Tommy was there either. But what happened to Anna and Tasiki? Y'all should have been there. Y'all are cast members. What's going on? But yeah, anyways, pretty much the scene cuts and we get the previews to the next episode.